Well, folks, in today's video, we're going to be unboxing a massive lot of model trains I found on eBay. I found all this stuff a few months ago while I was browsing, and it looked to be a fantastic lot. Inside is everything from steam to diesel to electric locomotives, plus some different pieces of rolling stock. And unlike a lot of the unboxings I do on this channel, everything inside here is N-scale as opposed to HO. So I'm really excited. I think this is going to double up the size of the N-scale collection and add some really unique pieces. Let's dig in and see what exactly is inside. This first box has a whole bunch of miscellaneous parts strapped to the outside. Don't want to lose those. They're probably going to be important for fixing up a lot of the stuff that's inside here. Really don't know what all of this is part of, but presumably we're going to need all this stuff, so I'll definitely keep it around. Now moving on to this, and I think that there's going to be some really exciting things in here. Oh, check it out. There's so many fun things in here. And right off the bat, we've got a Bachmann F unit. It's got a Santa Fe Super Chief paint scheme, and overall, it looks to be in pretty good condition. We are missing a couple of the side frames, but other than that, things look just fine. I find these N-scale models can be somewhat reliable, other than the motors, so I'm going to be really curious to see if this thing will run later. Got a Sealand container. A little MDT switcher. Looks to be in pretty good shape. I think that this was made by Aurora, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know in the comments. Got a Pennsylvania Railroad passenger car, and a second one, which maybe goes with this really cool looking locomotive right here. And this model is a Concord, which is actually a pretty decent brand in my opinion. I'm not exactly sure what kind of locomotive this is. I want to say an E8, but I'm not totally positive on that. I'm sure someone will know. An MKT caboose. It's missing a couple of wheels, but we had a lot of spares earlier, so that can probably be fixed up. Nice little 060. I don't know where this would be from. It's also unfortunately missing a wheel right there, so that might be a little bit harder to fix. Got this massive Pennsylvania Railroad mail car, is it? Union Pacific caboose. Little chassis system box car. Some kind of flat car. I don't really know what's going on here. Must have been someone's project. And then we've got an American steam locomotive, Jupiter. I think that this is made by Bachmann. Yeah, it is a Bachmann. You can see it right there. It's missing its pilot trucks. It might still run. I don't find these things were ever terrific runners, unfortunately, but they are very pretty locomotives. Got a little PCC streetcar, and this one is for the Chicago Transit Authority. Really nice cars. And then if I'm not mistaken, I think this is a Santa Fe type steam locomotive. From the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. I think this is actually what led to the 210-2 locomotives. Just look at all the driving wheels. Really cool model. And this one right here, I believe, is a Bachmann. Oh no, I was wrong. It's actually made by Trix. Well, I'll be very curious to see if that thing runs. And then over the top, we've actually got an entire TGV set. Now, I already have one of these sets in HO, but the fact the entire train is here, I think is kind of remarkable. I find most of the time there's just a miscellaneous car in these lots or a lone locomotive, so to have the entire train is certainly a huge plus for this lot. I just got the dummy unit for the end. The wheels are over there, so got everything we need to hopefully get this thing up and going. And that's just the first layer right there. Like a box of chocolates, we got even more down here. Another part of that TGV set. Got this locomotive. I don't exactly know what it is. I believe it was made by Mahano. Kind of looks like an AHM of some sort. I don't know. Got a little bobber caboose. And from what I understand about these things, they got their name because the four-wheel setup caused them to kind of bob on the track, just like a bobber. I'm not too sure what this would be for. It looks unique, though. I got another Pennsy locomotive, also made by Concord in Japan. I got a Norfolk and Western. I think this is an RS3. Overall looks to be in pretty good shape. And wouldn't you know it, it's actually a Kato. Well, hopefully that will run. These are usually pretty smooth locomotives. You guessed it, another Pennsylvania car, Baby Ruth tank car, something from the good old Rock. Another RS3, although this one's got a LNN paint scheme. Got a New York Central tender. I think that belongs to another steam engine, which is somewhere in here. Another Atchison Topeka Santa Fe caboose, Lehigh Valley. Another Pennsylvania Railroad car. Whoever owned this collection was a big fan of these, I guess. Got a little switcher locomotive from the Pennsylvania Railroad. It seems to be missing its front wheels. Hopefully those are in here somewhere. On to the next layer. Now look at this. We've got a Penn Central auto loader. It's got lots of little cars on it. In fact, I saw one of those in the junk bin, so we'll be able to pull that out and hopefully fix this up. It's missing its wheels, but I'd really like to fix this. I think it's a really cool looking piece. It's just another reason why I wanted to buy this lot. There's another one too. This one's from the Atchison Topeka and the Santa Fe. It's missing a few more cars. I might end up removing these top ones if I can't find the bodies for them. Got another trailer. What the heck is this? Compartmentizer equipped. Never heard of that before. If anybody knows anything about this, please share it. Ooh, a gold chassis system caboose. And I've got another Aurora Santa Fe MDT switcher. This one appears to be in pretty much the exact same condition as the last one. Not a very realistic locomotive, but I kind of like it in sort of a junky retro sort of way. I think this might be the New York Central locomotive that tender belongs to. This one's also made by Concord. Hopefully that's repairable. Good old state of Maine, and this one's for potatoes. I've got a whole bunch of these things in HO, but I believe this is the first one in N-scale I have in the collection. Norchem, haven't heard of that. Couple more passenger cars, and if you can believe it, there's still another layer to go. I think we've got another Santa Fe type steam locomotive. This one looks to be in slightly better condition, I think, than the other one, although we are missing one of the pilot wheels, so that's going to need to be repaired. It's also by Trix, another Pennsylvania Railroad car, although this one's for the last part of the train. That's kind of nice. Another RS3 or something. Hams. Never heard of that brand before. I wonder if they still exist. Well, our survey says yes. Got a nice street car, just a four-wheel model. I think this one is a Lima, Atlantic Coastline tender. Got another locomotive. I think this might be an Atlantic Coastline engine. Maybe it belongs to that tender. General Dynamics Corporation. Got a Santa Fe baggage car. So here's something kind of cool. We've actually got a Model Railroader 50 Years Edition, and this is from 1984. You don't see a whole lot like that. I like the gold scheme. I think they made an HO model of this as well. Once we get the wheels on it, we'll definitely have to run that around. Then we got a 484 steam locomotive. This one's made by Bachmann. Hopefully it will run. Everything looks to be... No, I take that back. I was going to say it looks to be quartered, but the drivers are at some weird angles right there. So I guess these have the same issues as their HO counterparts. And I think that is it. The rest of this is kind of just filled with wheels and stuff. I'll certainly not be throwing this away until I get all the parts on everything else. But for the time being, why don't we take all of the locomotives over to the track and see if any of these things will run. Okay, well, I just quickly did some sorting just to organize everything a little bit better. It's certainly not perfect, but it will make things a little bit easier just for some basic testing here, just to set expectations as well. Everything here was being sold as parts or repairs, so my hopes for any of these things starting is not super high. We might have a few runners, but we'll have to go through each one and just kind of figure out what we have. Now, the good news is that I did a small upgrade to the N-scale layout, and I threw on a slightly better controller than the Lifelike, which has been here for years, just to give these things a little bit of a better chance. So, let's find out what exactly the deal with each locomotive is, starting with the Aurora six-wheeler. Oh. Hey, that's not a bad start. Well, I think it could definitely use a wheel cleaning, but I'd call that one a runner. Next we got the 5-wheel steam locomotive. Let's see if that thing will move. There's definitely a little bit of pulse from the motor, but it's really struggling, so that one's definitely going to need some work. Not a huge surprise, really. I feel like this one right here is going to start up. Well, I've got a working headlight. Working so well it's actually burned a hole in the roof. I guess that one's not a runner. Got the other Aurora model. Wow, that one's actually working a little too well. Well, I definitely call that a runner, but it feels like the wheels are slightly out of gauge. I can't seem to get it on the track even without it derailing, so something's a little off there, but not a bad start. This thing's missing some wheels, so I don't know if it's going to work. This one's pretty rough, but I bet with the other wheel set, it probably would run. Next, we got the F unit. I think this one's going to start. Yeah, lo and behold. You know, Bachmann engines have never really been known for being the highest quality, but for whatever reason, I find their N-scale stuff seems to be made slightly better than their HO lineup of the same time. Let's see if this one will go. Heard something. Well, it's running pretty rough, but I would call that a runner. Yeah, this thing's just been sitting for a while. You can see it's starting to break in. Not bad, Kato. Now I got the Bachmann steam locomotive. I don't think this is going to run with the quartering issue, but could try to see if the motor will power up. It might need the tender to go, though. I believe this is how it was supposed to go. Okay, I've got it all set up with the tender here. Let's see if the motor's still got any life in it. Well, it's certainly not great, but at least we know somebody hasn't roasted the windings out of the motor, so that might be repairable with a little bit of CA here and there. Got the E8, I believe it is. Oh yeah, didn't even hesitate. It's got a cracked gear though. You can hear it kind of thumping away. Yeah, I mean, I'd call that good. Here's the TGV. It's missing its rear wheels, but try just throwing it on here. Got a working headlight. So we know it's picking up power, but nothing from the motor, so that one's unfortunately going to need a little bit of work. Wow. I mean, well, the tender's kind of shorting it out, but I think that thing would work if the tender was all sorted out. I got basically an identical model, although this one has all the wheels, so hopefully this one will be a complete runner. It's trying to run, but it's missing a whole bunch of traction tires, so the wheels are kind of riding on the rails, at least the flanges are, so that's not good. This one's got all of its wheels. I feel like it's got a pretty good chance at running. It's trying. Come on. Well, it's pretty rough, but I'd call that a runner. You can hear it's starting to smooth out at least a little bit. Right on, that isn't even half bad. Yeah, I mean, with one wheel missing, it's just not going to run that great, but the motor and everything else seems to be in terrific shape, so that's good. I have a pretty good feeling this one's going to run. Yeah. I had a good feeling about that one. This is interesting to say the least. I was hoping that throwing the tender behind it would get it to run, but unfortunately everything is just sparking, so clearly there's a pretty bad short circuit somewhere in this locomotive. That should make for an exciting project. Here's the Bachmann American locomotive. Now, I actually already own one of these engines, and it's never really run all that well. Well, it actually does run, but it's like it doesn't have enough traction to hold its own tender. Something's definitely going to need some attention there. And now finally, last but not least, the PCC streetcar. You know something, that is not the original wheel set, and it looks like somebody put a half insulated wheel set in it, so no wonder it sounds like it's shorting out. Let me try removing that, see if it fixes it. Yeah, I thought that might be the case. The wheels are going to need some work, though. They're just kind of dropping like flies. The gears are probably all split, so this thing's going to need some work, but I don't think it's hopeless, that's for sure. Well, folks, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm overall very happy with all these new additions to the N-Scale collection. There's a lot of things in here which I really can't wait to get working on, and I was actually thinking of making a new short series where we make some 1-minute videos of working on a bunch of these different locomotives. And it should just be a quick way to fix all of them up, because I think many of these things won't take too much effort to get them going again. So it's just an idea I had. But anyways, stay tuned for that. And until then, I just want to thank you all so much for watching.